The vote that shook the cosmos. In the grand chamber of the Galactic Senate, where representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered, a decision was about to be made that would change the course of cosmic history forever. The chamber hummed with anticipation as beings of all shapes and forms took their places. Some floated on anti-gravity platforms, others rested in pools of liquid, and a few existed as pure energy contained within crystalline vessels. At the center of this vast assembly stood the speaker, a being of ancient wisdom whose body seemed to shift between solid and ethereal states. Today's agenda contained only one item, but it was one that had sparked heated debates across the galaxy for months. The subjugation of Earth. Earth, a small blue planet in the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the galaxy, had recently achieved rudimentary space travel. While most civilizations viewed this achievement with mild interest, a powerful faction within the Senate saw it as a threat. The humans, they argued, were too aggressive, too unpredictable, and too dangerous to be allowed to develop freely. Distinguished members of the Senate, the speaker's voice resonated through the chamber, translated instantly into thousands of languages. We gather today to determine the fate of the human species. The motion before us calls for the immediate subjugation of Earth to be placed under direct galactic oversight for the safety of all civilized species. Ambassador Krell of the Dominion Alliance stood, his chidnous form gleaming under the chamber's bioluminescent lights. The evidence is irrefutable. Humans possess an unprecedented capacity for violence. Their history is soaked in blood, their technology developed through war, and their first steps into space were born from weapons designed to destroy each other. We cannot allow such a species to spread unchecked through our peaceful galaxy. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. The Dominion Alliance, comprising the most powerful military civilizations in the galaxy, had been pushing for this vote for years. They had compiled extensive reports on human history, focusing on wars, genocides, and environmental destruction. But not everyone agreed. Ambassador Lyra of the Harmony Collective, a federation of pacifist worlds, rose gracefully from her seat. Her translucent form pulsed with soft light as she spoke. Distinguished colleagues, I urge caution. Yes, humans have a violent past, but they also possess remarkable qualities. Their capacity for love, creativity, and adaptation is unlike anything we have seen. To subjugate them would be to destroy the very qualities that make them unique. The debate continued for hours. Some species argued that humanity's rapid technological advancement posed a threat to the established order. Others pointed out that humans had already begun to change, that their recent steps toward global cooperation showed promise. But the fear-mongering of the Dominion Alliance proved persuasive. When the vote was finally called, the result was decisive. By a margin of 3-1, the Galactic Senate voted to subjugate Earth. The decision mandated that a peacekeeping force would be dispatched immediately to establish control over the planet and limit human technological development to approved levels. In a small observation booth overlooking the chamber, Earth's lone representative watched in horror. Ambassador Sarah Chen had fought tirelessly to prevent this outcome, but Earth's status as a pre-contact civilization meant she had no voting rights. She could only observe as the fate of her species was decided by beings who had never set foot on her world. As the assembly dispersed, Chen activated her quantum communicator, a device secretly provided by sympathetic allies. The message she sent to Earth was brief but clear. They're coming. Prepare for everything. On Earth, the message arrived at the United Nations headquarters like a thunderbolt. World leaders who had been informed of humanity's place in the galactic community now faced their worst nightmare. The aliens weren't coming in peace. They were coming to conquer. Within hours, an emergency session of the UN Security Council was convened. For the first time in history, every nation on Earth was represented, old rivalries forgotten in the face of an existential threat. The decision was unanimous. Earth would not submit to subjugation. We may be young by galactic standards, declared Secretary General Marcus Williams, but we are not helpless. If these beings think they can simply vote away our freedom, they have severely underestimated humanity. Across the planet, a transformation began. Military forces mobilized, scientists collaborated on unprecedented scales, and ordinary citizens prepared for a struggle that would define their species. Factories that once produced consumer goods were retooled for defense production. Universities became think tanks for developing countermeasures against unknown alien technologies. The most remarkable change was in human unity. Nations that had been enemies for generations now shared resources and intelligence freely. Religious and cultural differences were set aside as humanity recognized that survival depended on standing together. In secret facilities around the world, teams of scientists worked day and night to analyze the limited alien technology that had been recovered from crashed probes and meteor impacts. They discovered something unexpected. While alien technology was advanced, it wasn't incomprehensible. Human ingenuity, when properly motivated, could bridge the gap faster than anyone had anticipated. As Earth prepared for the arrival of the subjugation fleet, a spirit of defiance grew. Songs were written, stories were told, and a new identity emerged. Humans weren't just inhabitants of Earth anymore. They were a species fighting for their right to exist on their own terms. The galaxy had voted to subjugate Earth, but they had awakened something they didn't understand. Human determination, creativity, and the fierce desire for freedom were about to challenge everything the established powers thought they knew about warfare and civilization. The stage was set for a conflict that would reshape the galaxy itself. The vote that was meant to contain humanity had instead ignited a fire that would burn across the stars. Earth's defiant response. The first signs of the approaching subjugation fleet appeared 3 months after the fateful vote. Observatories around the world detected massive energy signatures at the edge of the solar system. The alien armada was unlike anything humanity had imagined. Hundreds of ships, each larger than Earth's greatest battleships, moving in perfect formation toward their target. But Earth had not been idle. In those 3 months, humanity had undergone a transformation that would have taken decades under normal circumstances. The Earth Defense Coalition, formed from the combined military and scientific resources of every nation, had been working around the clock to prepare for this moment. Deep beneath Cheyenne Mountain, General Elena Volkov stood before a holographic display showing the approaching fleet. Around her, representatives from every major power worked in unprecedented harmony. "They expect to find a primitive species cowering in fear," she announced to the room. "Instead, they'll find a united Earth ready to defend itself." The coalition's strategy was built on 3 pillars: deception, adaptation, and asymmetric warfare. Humanity knew they couldn't match the alien ship for ship, so they wouldn't try. Instead, they would use every trick, every creative solution, and every ounce of human ingenuity to level the playing field. Dr. James Chen, lead scientist of Project Prometheus, had made a breakthrough that would prove crucial. By reverse engineering fragments of alien technology, his team had developed a way to disrupt the quantum communications the aliens relied on. "Their entire fleet operates like a hive mind," he explained. "Cut the connections, and they'll have to think for themselves." As the alien fleet crossed the orbit of Neptune, Earth's first surprise was revealed. Thousands of small satellites, launched under the guise of communication upgrades, suddenly activated. Each one began broadcasting the disruption signal Dr. Chen had developed. The effect was immediate. The perfect formation of the alien fleet began to waver. On the alien flagship, Commander Zorax of the Dominion Alliance watched in confusion as his tactical displays flickered. "This is impossible," he growled. "The humans shouldn't have this capability." His second-in-command, equally baffled, could only shake his head. "Perhaps we underestimated them." But the communication disruption was just the beginning. As the fleet approached Mars, they encountered Earth's second surprise, a minefield of unprecedented scale. Not traditional explosives, but devices that generated localized gravitational anomalies. Ships that had traveled the galaxy for millennia suddenly found themselves pulled off course or spinning uncontrollably. On Earth, the population watched with a mixture of fear and hope. In Times Square, crowds gathered to watch the battle unfold on massive screens. In Beijing, families huddled together, praying for victory. In Johannesburg, children drew pictures of Earth's defenders. The whole planet held its breath. The alien response was swift and brutal. Despite the disruptions, their technological superiority was undeniable. Energy weapons carved through Earth's defensive satellites, and several ships managed to break through the minefield. As they entered Earth's orbit, they began deploying drop pods filled with subjugation troops. This was the moment Earth had truly prepared for. Instead of meeting the aliens with conventional military force, the coalition unleashed its most powerful weapon: human adaptability. Every landing zone became a trap. Every advance met with unexpected resistance. In the Amazon rainforest, indigenous warriors used their intimate knowledge of the terrain to ambush alien patrols. In the mountains of Afghanistan, former enemies fought side by side, their experience in guerrilla warfare proving invaluable. In the cities, civilians turned their homes and businesses into fortresses, using improvised weapons and clever tactics to resist the invaders. But humanity's greatest surprise was yet to come. Deep in underground laboratories, scientists have been working on Project Genesis, an attempt to understand and replicate the aliens' biological vulnerabilities. When the first alien casualties were recovered, researchers made a shocking discovery. Despite their advanced technology, the aliens had no immunity to Earth's simplest organisms. Within days, modified versions of common Earth bacteria were being deployed against the invaders. The aliens, who had conquered worlds across the galaxy, found themselves fighting an enemy they couldn't see or understand. Their advanced healing technology was useless against pathogens their bodies had never encountered. The tide began to turn. Alien troops, weakened by illness and confused by the loss of their communication network, started making mistakes. Human forces, coordinated through old-fashioned radio and fiber optic networks, pressed their advantage. In battle after battle, superior technology fell to superior strategy and determination. The defining moment came during the Battle of Tokyo. A massive alien assault ship descended on the city, intent on establishing a command center. But the coalition had anticipated this move. As the ship settled into position, a coordinated strike involving conventional missiles, electromagnetic pulse weapons, and biological agents brought it crashing down into Tokyo Bay. The images of the burning alien warship were broadcast around the world. For the first time since the invasion began, humanity allowed itself to hope. In the galactic Senate chambers, observers watched in disbelief as reports filtered in. The primitive humans weren't just resisting, they were winning. Ambassador Krell of the Dominion Alliance demanded reinforcements, insisting that Earth's resistance was merely a temporary setback. But other voices in the Senate began to question the wisdom of the subjugation vote. Ambassador Lyra of the Harmony Collective stood once again. Perhaps, she suggested, we have misjudged these humans. Ambassador Krell of the Dominion Alliance demanded reinforcements, insisting that Earth's resistance was merely a temporary setback. But other voices in the Senate began to question the wisdom of the subjugation vote. Ambassador Lyra of the Harmony Collective stood once again. Perhaps, she suggested, we have misjudged these humans. On Earth, the coalition pressed its advantage. Every alien defeat was studied, every captured piece of technology analyzed. Humanity was learning, adapting, and growing stronger with each passing day. The aliens had come expecting to find primitive savages. Instead, they found a species that thrived on challenge, that grew stronger under pressure, and that refused to surrender its freedom. General Volkov addressed the world from the coalition headquarters. They voted to subjugate us, she declared, but they forgot to ask if we would accept their decision. Today, we have shown the galaxy that Earth will not bow to anyone. Our freedom is not negotiable. As night fell across the planet, the lights of human cities still burned bright. In the sky above, alien ships retreated to regroup, their commanders struggling to understand how their certain victory had turned into a desperate struggle. The battle for Earth's independence had truly begun, and humanity was just getting started. The battle for independence. The alien retreat was temporary. Within weeks, the subjugation fleet regrouped beyond lunar orbit, adapting their strategies to counter Earth's unexpected resistance. Commander Zorax, his pride wounded but his determination intact, called for a different approach. If we cannot break them through force, he declared to his war council, we will break their spirit. The second wave of attacks targeted Earth's infrastructure, power grids, communication networks, and food production facilities came under precise orbital bombardment. The aliens had learned from their earlier mistakes. They now maintained higher altitudes, beyond the reach of most Earth weapons, and used automated drones for ground operations. But humanity had learned too. During the brief respite, the Earth Defense Coalition had implemented contingency plans developed over decades of Cold War paranoia. Underground bunkers, decentralized power systems, and hidden supply caches proved invaluable. More importantly, the coalition had made a breakthrough that would change everything. Dr. Maria Rodriguez, a quantum physicist from Chile, had been studying captured alien technology with an international team. Late one night, she discovered something remarkable. Their shield technology, she reported excitedly to General Volkov, it's based on harmonic resonance, and I think I know how to disrupt it. Her discovery led to the development of the dissonance cannon, a weapon that could temporarily destabilize alien shields by generating opposing frequency patterns. It wasn't perfect, but it gave Earth's forces a fighting chance against the invaders' superior defenses. The first major test came during the siege of Berlin. Alien forces had surrounded the city, deploying a massive shield generator that made conventional attacks useless. But when the first dissonance cannon fired, creating a momentary gap in the shield, human forces poured through. The battle raged for 3 days, with neither side willing to yield. It was during this battle that humanity discovered another crucial advantage, their unpredictability. The aliens, accustomed to warfare governed by strict protocols and logical progression, struggled to adapt to human tactics that seemed to defy reason. Suicide missions, feigned retreats, and seemingly random attacks kept the invaders off balance. In the Pacific, a different kind of battle was unfolding. The aliens had established a base on the ocean floor, using it to launch attacks on coastal cities. But they hadn't counted on Earth's marine forces. Submarines, long considered obsolete in space-age warfare, proved devastatingly effective against aliens who had never encountered underwater combat. The turning point came when Captain Sarah Chen, promoted after her warning had saved countless lives, led a daring raid on the underwater base. Using a combination of conventional torpedoes and improvised depth charges filled with the biological agents that had proven so effective, her team destroyed the facility and captured several high-ranking alien officers. The interrogation of these officers revealed something unexpected. The Galactic Senate was divided. Many species were horrified by the brutality of the subjugation attempt and impressed by humanity's resilience. Secret communications indicated that support for the Dominion Alliance was waning. Armed with this knowledge, the coalition launched Operation Shadowcast, a coordinated global offensive designed to demonstrate Earth's strength and resolve. Across 6 continents, human forces struck simultaneously at alien positions. The attacks were precisely timed to coincide with a broadcast to the galaxy, showing the true face of human resistance. The message was simple but powerful. We fight not because we love war, but because we love freedom. We resist not because we hate you, but because we refuse to be slaves. End this aggression and find in us friends. Continue it and face the full measure of human determination. The broadcast, transmitted using captured alien technology, reached every corner of the galaxy. On countless worlds, beings watched as humans, outnumbered and outgunned, fought with a ferocity and ingenuity that defied comprehension. The image of a single human soldier, wounded but defiant, standing atop a destroyed alien tank, became a symbol that would resonate across civilizations. In the Senate chambers, the tide of opinion shifted dramatically. Ambassador Lyra seized the moment. "We sought to subjugate them because we feared their potential for violence," she argued. "But look at what they fight for. Not conquest, but freedom. Not domination, but dignity. Perhaps these humans have something to teach us all." The Dominion Alliance found itself increasingly isolated. Their calls for additional forces were met with reluctance, then refusal. Some member species even began to withdraw their support, unwilling to be associated with what was increasingly seen as an unjust war. On Earth, the coalition pressed its advantage. City by city, region by region, they pushed back the alien forces. Each victory was hard-won, paid for in blood and sacrifice, but humanity's resolve never wavered. In fact, it seemed to grow stronger with each challenge. The final battle of this phase took place in the skies above Antarctica. The aliens, desperate to regain the initiative, committed their flagship and elite forces to a massive assault. But they flew into a carefully prepared trap. Human forces, using a combination of conventional weapons, dissonance cannons, and captured alien technology, surrounded and systematically destroyed the alien armada. As the alien flagship fell from the sky, its commander managed one final transmission to the Senate. "We were wrong. These humans, they cannot be subjugated. They can only be respected or feared." The immediate threat had been neutralized, but Earth's leaders knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had taken notice, and humanity's place in it would never be the same. As they began to plan their next moves, one thing was clear: Earth would no longer be content to remain isolated on the galactic stage. General Volkov addressed the coalition leadership. "We've shown them we can defend ourselves. Now it's time to show them we can do more than just survive. It's time to take our place among the stars, on our own terms." The battle for independence had been won, but the war for humanity's future was just beginning. Retriclaude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses. 3.7 Sonnet.